Welcome back, Super-Centex Podcast. The gang is all here again. Michael, Chad, and Bryce. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Sorry I missed Friday night. I tell you, I can't remember if I told you guys this story or not, but I was driving back from Corsicana, and I saw a car in front of me swerve to the right. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, I bet they hit a deer. And then I saw the deer in the road. And so having hit a deer myself late at night, I thought, well, I should go back. So I went back and checked on them. Sure enough, they had hit the deer. It took out their right headlight, and the deer, gave his life for that little moment of Friday night crisis. So
it's scary. Deer can mess your car up.
Right, and they did. It took out the right headlight. I don't know. The car might have been drivable. But, I saw a lot of them on the side of the road, unfortunately, on my drive out to Lubbock. So the hunters aren't the only ones, hitting their tag limit.
True that.
And just for the record, I did, whenever Chad told me that story, I said, but the people were okay? And he was like, yes. And,
yeah. I guess I should have said that too.
P.S.
Right. Plus, they had someone on the way to get them who was just down the road. So they're all good. Hopefully.
Yeah. Shout out to that Robinson couple though that is getting a new headlight. I don't know if they took the deer to the processor or not.
It is deer hunting season, so
it is deer hunting season. It's also playoff season, which is our segue here.
Perfect.
Our Central Texas field got split in half after one round of the playoffs. We went from 40 teams down to 19. So a little more than half. But we've still got some really good teams alive. For you guys, who had the most impressive win last week? And you can define that however you want. Dominant, surprising, etc.
I'll let Michael go first.
Yeah, I was going to say, can I take the low-hanging fruit here and pick China Spring? Yes, dude. Man, so it's funny, we obviously didn't send someone to that game, and I don't know. I mean, Dave Campbell's Texas Football projected it wouldn't be close. I think they had a 20-point spread according to their little computer model. We all picked Belleville. I don't think any of us really gave that much thought. No disrespect to the Cougars. That's more of a testament to the Brahmas and the program they've been. They were state ranked in all of it. But as Chad mentioned, so Chad actually tweeted this too. I guess if China Spring just plays a slot T offense, they're just built to beat them because when they played state-ranked Franklin, who's still number one and rolling in 3A, they opened the year with them, beat them. Now they played another Belleville team that also runs that same kind of slot T scheme and run heavy and angles and blocking schemes and all of it. And China Spring won again. Big overtime win. I was talking to Bryce about this in the newsroom a few days ago or yesterday. The Cougars are still beat up too. This is the craziest thing. They do not have their full complement of talent. And they moved up a kid late in the year from JV. Make sure I get his name here. Jack Kennedy, a sophomore. He was their JV quarterback all year. Played a few snaps late in the year on varsity. Coach Beatty told me there were a few times where he would kind of come off the field and say whoa, this is fast, because it's a whole different speed. But he started in that playoff game. He was their starting quarterback.
That's a great story.
I think he probably threw for maybe a little over 100 yards. He didn't have a huge day. It was definitely the Krishan Gregory show. But still, to be put in that spot and throw the go-ahead touchdown in overtime, I mean, that's huge. So to me, that felt like the easy.
What's the story with Jackson Knapp?
So he's been kind of beaten and banged up. In fact, in the Lorena game, he had gotten banged up pretty late in that one too. So they're kind of monitoring his status and seeing if he'll be available. But the thing about this China Spring team is whether they have him or not, they kind of like to use different guys in that spot anyway. Sometimes Krishan Gregory will just take a direct snap and kind of be the quarterback in a sense and just run the ball. Right. David Bell is a fullback. He's taken some direct snaps and maybe thrown the ball, maybe done some handoff stuff with Gregory.
Well, they were run heavy even with Jackson now.
Yeah. So in terms of his status, I'm not 100% sure, but they're keeping an eye on him and hopeful that he can play.
There's
certainly
a
an
lot of people
impressive
out there,
win.
as Joey McGuire says, football banged up. I'm feeling a little bit playoff banged up.
Right.
I mean, like you guys are probably the same way. I've done 6 playoff games in 6 different cities in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh, but that China Spring over Belleville, that would have been a genius level limb pick. If anybody
Yeah.
had thought far enough down the line of slot T and
Hmm.
uh,
How about you? What's your answer?
okay, so I got two, and they weren't necessarily upsets, but they were breaking playoff droughts, and that sometimes that can be a bugaboo. When you hadn't won a playoff game in a long time, and that was the case with Robinson, who beat Madisonville, their first playoff win since 2016. Rosebud-Lott beat San Saba, their first playoff win since 2013. So congrats to those programs. It's big to get back in the win column this time of year. Now the next step is to get to Thanksgiving, which
Yeah.
Rosebud-Lott has a pretty tough test in that one because they got Refugio in the next round.
It's
So
gonna be tough.
yeah.
I feel like I'm going to take some low hanging fruit too and just go with La Vega. Uh,
Okay.
42-0 by district win. You know, maybe on the surface you think, well, that's what they should do, but you get to the playoffs, you're still playing good teams. Michael mentioned the stats that the LaGrange quarterback had come in with.
Off the charts. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
really good.
well over 1,000 passing, well over 1,000 rushing, like really
Yeah,
good player.
and I think all of us have probably thought that it was going to be a little tougher for La Vega this year with no Bryson Rowland. Obviously, he was a special, special player, a difference maker for them. And
No Ethan
yet,
Thompson.
Ethan
yeah, I
Thompson
mean,
for sure. Yeah.
yet, I mean, they still look like the La Vega team that could get to Jerry World. So yeah, I think La Vega's very impressive. Round two, we get a lot more 9-2 versus 9-2, 10-1 versus 11-0 kind of matchups. So Chad actually said in our text thread, we got a lot of toss-ups this week.
That 80% is going to be hard to maintain.
Exactly. Which one was the toughest for you to pick, and which way are you maybe leaning in that one that was toughest?
Well, you go right on down the line, University Bastrop, Robinson West Orange Stark, really Whitney Winsboro, Fairfield Yoakum, Axtell Tom Bean, Chilton Mount Enterprise, which is a game you and
Man.
I will be at. And they actually, even down in the six-man ranks, that Aquila Milford game, they're
Milford.
pretty
Yep.
close in those six-man rankings. So I like what Robinson is doing, particularly on the offensive side and their ability to answer on the offensive side. They played a really good running back in Madisonville's Jaden Simpson on Friday night and kind of took some punches, but kept on punching themselves. And they've got some really good players on the defensive side, even though they didn't shut down Madisonville. So, they played the Mighty Waz on a calmer week when we didn't have 3 state volleyball games to cover. I'd love to drive down to Spring to cover that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Robinson, West Orange Stark, that's going to be a really fun matchup for sure. Michael, I mean, what do you think?
So the one that I really struggled with the most, and I may have not struggled with it as much if I hadn't already talked to Coach Horn about it, but the Axel Tom Bean game is very interesting. And do you guys know much about Tom Bean, like as a program or what they're doing this year? Because if
Let
not,
us know,
I'll
brother.
tell you. Okay, well, again, I've said this on the podcast before. I love Coach Horn because he keeps it real. And when I talked to him after their by district win, and, about potential sites, days, whatever opponents for that next round, he said, if Tom Bean wins, they're gonna want to play on a day when it's not super windy because they like to throw it around. And so I followed up on that this week and said, so, this Tom Bean team apparently likes to throw it around. And he goes, oh yeah. Like he said in his 30 years of coaching, he said he's never seen like a passing attack like this. He said maybe outside of like Colt McCoy, because they have a quarterback, Donnie Hooten, guys. I'm gonna read this off for you. He in 11 games he has thrown for 3,718 yards, pretty good, and completing 80% of his passes, pretty good, I would say. 39 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. I think
Mm.
that sounds good to me. Two receivers over 1,000 yards, almost at 1,200 apiece. So I say all that to say, hey, this actual team is state ranked and they're good. Now, are they going to be able to hang with a team like this, particularly on defense? That's going to be interesting. And on the flip side of that, can their offense keep up if it does end up being like, hey, you got to go score for score, like you mentioned, Chad Robinson has shown it can
Hmm.
do that in a game.
Hmm.
They've been in shootouts this year and have won those. I don't know. And Axtell really, if you look at their schedule, I mean, they haven't really been tested in that way, maybe since last week. And that wasn't necessarily a shootout. It was just tough sledding in the first half. So can they keep up? I think they have the offensive guys to do it, but this is a really, really potent offense. They may not see a better offense the rest of the year.
That's excellent insight on Tom Bean, and it just goes to show. I was sitting at the Texas Tech football game with the dean of the College of Media and Communications on Saturday, and just chatting with her. And I said, "Let me brag about this young, just recently graduated person, and the way he gets after it." I didn't tell her you were making us all look bad by calling out of area coaches all the dang time. But anyway, there you go, Michael.
I
Good
appreciate
Good
job.
that.
job. Good
I
job.
appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
I struggled with a couple of them. I saw Bastrop play against China Spring, and that was the classic tale of two halves game where Jackson Knapp and China Spring played really, really well for one half and not so well for the second half. And Bastrop, ran away with it in the second half. Um, but so I struggled with, am I swayed by what I saw in those last two quarters of that game? How much credit, how much momentum does university have coming off a big by district win? As Brian Coates texted me, he said, I called it one of the biggest wins in school history. Is that okay? Is that too much editorializing? I said, look, man, they only have 11 playoff wins coming into tonight. I think it counts. Um,
Agreed.
the other one that Chad mentioned that he and I will be at Friday night, Chilton Mount Enterprise. That's another one I kind of struggled with because Mount Enterprise looks pretty good, obviously undefeated. And you guys have seen Chilton. I haven't, but Marnico's a difference maker. They've got a great
Yes.
defense. So, I struggled with that when I ended up taking Mount Enterprise, but I would not be surprised if you guys get that game on me. So
That's the
Yeah.
only state ranked versus state ranked that we got.
Fairfield Yoakum.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
But you're right. There's
There
not
you
there's not a
go.
ton that are like that. So
Uh-huh.
but
Mhm.
still some really good record wise matchups
yes,
for sure.
yes.
So we do a lot of predicting each week. And as Chad referenced, if you look at our picks records, you might even think we know what we're talking about. um, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to give me one bold prediction for round two. And it doesn't have to be like an upset pick. It could be a statistical prediction, a parlay, whatever you want.
Okay, I got one for you. I got it. You ready?
Yep.
I predict that every team that wins this week will play on Thanksgiving week.
Shut
Nice.
up, moron. That's not even, that's just a fact, doofus.
It just popped into my head. I don't know.
All right. What do you have, Michael?
Well, at this point, I guess I should expect it, but I'm going to guess that Kobe Haynes will not score 6 touchdowns for the third straight week. But at the same time, I mean, like, guys, I'm struggling to comprehend what this guy is doing for that football team because, like, we've talked about individual players and the lift they have to give for their team. And I'm not saying it's just the Kobe Haynes show with the Wildcats, but like what he's been able to do since stepping over to quarterback is unreal. And that one, I mean, like that Winsboro matchup, it's not necessarily like maybe the biggest matchup of our slate, but that one's also pretty interesting too. Like I
Oh
don't
yeah.
think, especially with the way Whitney's defense probably played last week. Like I don't know, I don't really know about that one either. And but in terms of bold predictions and stuff, I am going to pick Chilton over Mount Enterprise. I think if Chilton can kind of get that running game going, get Xavier Taylor some carries, let him fall forward, and Nico can kind of bounce it outside and make dudes miss. I think that one could also get pretty interesting, but I feel like that one has shootout potential too, low key.
So
I'll give a real prediction,
okay.
along with my dad joke prediction. We all picked Hamilton, so it might not be so bold, but that's a 9-2 versus 9-2, and
Mhm.
I'll give more of a reason than a prediction. I think Hamilton's playoff experience last year, the way
Yeah.
they've played coming down the stretch this year, De Leon is a big rivalry game for them, and they beat De Leon in the final week of the regular season. I think they're really starting to crescendo, so that's why I like Hamilton in that game over Corsicana Mildred.
Nice.
Yep.
That one will be at Robinson Field, and Brian Coates will be there for that. So that'll be fun. I am going with a parlay. And here, before Chad's dad joke, I thought y'all were going to call me out for mine not being bold enough, but he taught me. All right, so hear me out before you start calling me out. I'm going with all 5 Central Texas 6-man teams to win, to go 5-0. And look, I think if we looked at all 5 of those, we'd say the 5 Central Texas teams are probably the favorites. We all ended up picking them, each of us, in all 5 of those games, but I still have to go 5 for 5. And as Chad said, I think Milford's pretty good. That Cherokee team that Oglesby's playing,
Yeah, they're good.
just beat a really good Coolidge team. That was a really good Coolidge team with a great player in Devontae Johnson. So yeah, I mean, I think I have to go 5 for 5 to get this prediction right, but I like our chances of getting all 5 teams to the next round.
Let me jump on my soapbox just for a second. I'm not going to stay long on it, but let me just say, you mentioned parlay, and we're talking a lot about predictions and kind of betting talk. I don't think any of the 3 of us actively bet games, right?
No,
correct.
We're talking about how you're getting 77% for you guys for the season, 80% for me. We're looking into this, but and I'm not just saying that to brag about my 80%.
Sure, Chad.
Okay, but serious point though. Any even coaches or kids out there that are getting on these betting apps, that's a good way to ruin your life in a hurry. That's just my warning.
So, well, sure. And the moment that we did start betting on all these games, our records would go.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's good life advice there. We have a friend, Chad, Jimmy Barnes, who is certainly a big gambler.
Yeah,
but here's the thing: Jim would always say, and I always thought it was really sound, wise advice. Don't bet what you can't afford to lose.
Right. And the problem with our modern age of betting apps and all this stuff is Jim Barnes is street smart, right? When it comes to gambling. A lot of these people that have access to it, teenagers that have access to it, adults with the mindset of teenagers that have access to it, they don't have that kind of street smart that he got. And, so that's all I got to say about it.
Well, there's our soapbox moment. And while we're straying down other topics, there is no reason here on the Super-Centex Podcast that we can't actually talk about other sports besides football.
I thought we should. I'm glad you put that on.
Yeah, I totally thought about this. Like, I have no problem continuing the Super-Centex Podcast throughout the high school sports year. If y'all want to keep talking,
I'm here for it.
Basketball and every other sport.
Sign me up.
But anyway, my point is, it's obviously a very big week for high school volleyball with the state championships happening in Garland. We've got three, count them, Central Texas teams playing for titles in Blom in Class 1A, Crawford in 2A Division 2, and Clifton in 3A Division 2. You guys have both gotten a chance to cover Clifton this year in the playoffs. Meanwhile, I'm Mr. Volleyball. I've seen all these teams and more. But what do you think? Do we have a chance as an area to go 3 for 3 in championships?
Man, that's going to be a tough one. I think
Yes.
I think that in particular Crawford's up against a tough opponent, I believe.
Iola.
And man, just what a job Jeff Coker has done with Crawford to get there year after year. I knock on the door year after year. I think this will be the first time I've seen him play. And I've covered him a lot of times. I think it's the first time I've seen him in a state championship. So if they don't win, I know Coker's going to be on me for jinxing.
Right, right.
Uh, let me
We,
let,
you know,
let me say this. I really like Clifton. Covered them a couple times. Really enjoy seeing their team. And I know Michael, you saw a thriller on Saturday, I believe.
mhm.
A buddy, my buddy Tommy Ross texted me today and pointed out, and I'd already heard this. I already knew this, that Kendall Hauser's mom and
Yeah,
Madison Otter's mom were on the Clifton volleyball team that made the state tournament in 1995.
Yeah.
So
coached by the same head coach too.
yes, yep,
Yeah.
Coach
And
Holton.
Michael's writing that story this week, that
Yep,
feature.
yep,
So that'll
I
be,
told I told Mr. Ross you probably would be. Yeah.
yes,
yeah,
yes. Uh,
yeah.
Apparently, some of our friends in the TV business have
Oh, yeah.
also picked up that story, but
Indeed, indeed. All
read it
good,
in the
all good.
Trib.
That's
Uh,
right.
Michael, what do you think?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for all three to win, but hey, it was not too long ago we sent four teams to the softball state championships and three of them won, and heck, Riesel was like two outs away from making it 4 for 4. So I know it's a different sport, but hey, why not? I mean, we've got three really good Central Texas teams. I've seen Clifton, just to piggyback off of what Chad said, Bristol Wise is unbelievable, and plays and the way she plays too is unbelievable. It's fun to watch, just the passion she plays with, and that's a well balanced team, hard hitting, and they serve really well. So I think again we have three really good teams going. Can all three get the job done? Bryce, you might have a better take on that. I mean, you've literally seen all three,
So,
so.
yeah, I love volleyball. First of all, just love it. It's a fun sport to cover, fun sport to yeah, to watch. Do we have a chance? Absolutely, got a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance? Uh,
Lloyd Christmas moment.
yes. Absolutely. I mean, Chad hit on it. The toughest matchup is Crawford Iola. This is the third straight year that Crawford and Iola will meet in the state championship game. 2 years
Crazy.
ago, Iola won in 4 sets. Last year, Crawford pulled it out in 5 sets. You might say this is the rubber match, but they've met 6 times all told in the state tournament. Um,
Wow.
I was out there yesterday in Crawford. It was funny, Jeff and I were talking to set up the story and stuff, um, and he had told me that their practice would end about 5:45, and so at one point I had told him, yeah, I'll get out there about 5:30, and he said, well, it won't end till like 5:45, and I was like, that's fine, I'll watch practice. That was my thought, that I would watch a little practice. And I actually ended up getting up out there about 5 or 5:15, and so I saw a pretty good amount of practice. And as Chad said, I mean, Jeff is a really sharp coach. He knows what he's doing. And yes, it's going to be a tough chore. Iola's like 42-7 or something like that. And they've got, I think a size advantage on Crawford. They got a couple of 5'10" girls, which doesn't sound that big, but
No, it is.
Crawford's tallest girl is 5'9". Um, so it's going to be tough, but man, Crawford has come a long way over the course of this season and is playing with a lot of confidence. I think the win in the regional final over North Hopkins, 5 sets, was a big one. So do not count them out. It's one of the best rivalries. It's probably one of the best rivalries in Texas high school volleyball. It's just, it's going to be a lot of fun. What do you want to say, Chad? I could tell you want to say something.
Yeah, a couple of things. Something on Crawford, something on Clifton. Crawford, now Coker is a friend of mine. I've known him since, in fact, we actually had a homeroom together my senior year of high school. He was a year behind me at Midway, so he's another guy I know from Midway. And not, it's going to sound like gushing, but he really, there aren't very many coaches in any sport in Central Texas that have built the kind of every year state championship contender like he's built. So that's compliments to Jeff and what he's done with the Crawford program. You mentioned Bristol Wise with Clifton, and one of the things I really like about the way they play, Madison Otter is the setter. She'll loft the ball way up and then let Bristol go get it, right? But if she ever just barely pops it, you better look out because Talia Davenport will pop up like a cricket. And
they call that a quick attack. There's different terms for it, but yes, I love when there's a quick attack and bam, before the defense can really even get set. I think Clifton and Blum are probably both the favorites in their matches. Got a chance to talk to Blum today for that feature that I'll do, and interesting little thing I learned today. So Lauren McPherson is another coach that I just think very highly of. She's done a great job there at Blum. They're going for 3 out of 4 of the last 4 years state championships. They did not make it to state last year, and they have a lot of hunger, to close it out. But when I say to close it out, I could tell with just some of their answers today that I was getting like, oh, okay. I said, and so I asked her, I said, is this also going to be your last game? Meaning Lauren McPherson. And it will be. So her daughter, Kinsley, is Blum's best player. She was our super-centex newcomer of the year when she's a freshman. Been a tremendous 4-year player for Blum. She's really good. She'll go to Temple College in the fall or next year. And, I think Lauren wants to be a mom and wants to go see her play and, just not always do the coach thing. So she's going to leave quite a legacy, and I think they're highly motivated to try to finish it off with one more state championship. Whoever takes over the reins at Blum's going to have big shoes to fill. So for sure, should be a lot of fun. Chad and I, as he said, will be there in Garland, but then we're going down to cover that Chilton Mount Enterprise game on Friday.
Aren't we serving? We're serving as the wire service for the entire state for volleyball, right?
I don't know that we'll be the only media there, but we are farming some stuff out. You're right. Michael, tell us where you'll be. You're going to see 3 games in 3 days. That's always fun.
Man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to see Live Oak playing CTCS at Lorena. That's Thursday night.
They played in the regular season, and Central Texas Christian got them pretty good.
They got him good, but I will say Matt Hurst does think that his group has improved since then. He's got a young team that graduated a lot of seniors from last year, and that matchup, as you mentioned, was earlier in the year. So you can imagine some of those maybe freshmen
and that's turned into, in a lot of sports, a nice little rivalry.
It has. But you can imagine some of those freshmen and sophomores who played in that first game might feel like sophomores and juniors now at this time of the year.
Sure.
So that'll be fun. And then turn around Friday. This was one that when the matchup was settled, I kind of wanted. I was trying to see if I could squeeze my way there over anyone else. But Fairfield Yoakum, at Belton, number 6 versus number 10, in 3A Division One. That's going to be fun. It'll be my first chance to see Bo Robinson, Ty Robinson's brother from Crawford. So he's built a pretty good program there at Yoakum. And then Saturday we've got the U Dogs playing Bastrop at UMHB. I loved UMHB in that stadium last week, so I'm glad I get to go again.
Yeah, excellent venue. Definitely, they do a great job down there at UMHB of hosting games. I got to see Midway play there multiple times, including this year. So, yeah, should be a lot of fun. We'll be at some other games as well. Art Strickland will be at the Whitney game. DJ will be at
the Crawford Kennedy, right?
Crawford Kennedy game. Brian Coates at the Hamilton game, as I mentioned. So yeah, we'll have a lot of games coming at you again. And then of course, Michael always does a good job of tracking down some of the games that we're not at. We'll still have write-ups on those. So,
and then next week is Thanksgiving.
Next week is Turkey Week, baby.
Turkey Week. Let's go.
Yes, we always say it every year, but if you get to Turkey Week, you've done something.
And well, sometimes it's round 2, it's round 3 this year. So
yeah, that's true. Right. That's true.
Yeah. A little extra exclamation point on that one.
Nice. Cool. All right. Well, we'll see y'all later.
See you guys. Yeah.